Initializing nextlife system. System ready.
What is going on, my friends, and welcome back to the show. I have been sick in bed all day, so I apologize if I come off, if I sneeze or get snot all over the camera, or have to blow my nose mid shoot. But I am prepared for that. But I am excited to talk about this topic today because as I was sitting in bed, just literally couldn't do anything, my buddy texted me. He's just like, "Hey, you should check out this online class. It's basically about how you can start or create an online business within 48 hours. Basically, the goal is to teach you how to make that first dollar, and ultimately how within 48 hours you could create a business that would initially bring in $1,000 a month." And so I was like, wow, okay, cool. I'm definitely interested in something like that. Let's check it out. And so I did, and I ended up getting completely immersed within these teachings over today. And so I spent, literally, it was great. It was like the most productive sick day I've ever had. And so anyways, today I wanted to share with you guys what that is, and why you should check it out, because I think it's an absolutely valuable resource and something that I'm going to be continuing to use and sharing with my friends as well. So this is what the course is. It's actually created by AppSumo. It's called Make Your First Dollar, or How to Make $1,000 a Month Business. They say, have you ever failed at starting a business or failed at trying? Learn to find the right idea and start a profitable business you'll enjoy without spending more money. How to make $1,000 a month business is interactive and designed for action. And that's exactly what it is. It's absolutely an action-based class and tutorial. What they really focus on is cutting out the bullshit of what you don't need to do. So for instance, most of us, when we think of starting a business, we think, I have to get my LLC, I need to get my local design, I need to acquire all the equipment that I need. So for instance, when I initially started this a production company, or even the thought of starting a production company, I'm like, oh gosh. Or even the concept of just doing videos on YouTube, I was like, oh, I need a really nice camera, oh, I need a really nice lighting, oh, I need it's like I need to know how to do all the editing. I have to have this really nice editing software, all of that. Those were the initial thoughts that came to me. And actually, I think when I first wanted to do this 6 years ago, when I first ever wanted to do video, those thoughts right there limited me tremendously. And you know what happened? It's like I was able to start doing video, but I was tremendously limited. And if I were to just cut the bullshit and get straight to what it is that I wanted to create and what my intention was for it, it would have been so much easier. So that's just one example, but there's many examples, and it's like, this example right here of me getting on here and creating videos every day, I could easily be like, oh, I just don't have the perfect setup. It's like, because it's like, yeah, the lighting I have is cheap. Like the green screen, it's like I can't even use it right now because I don't have the right lighting to fully illuminate it. So it's like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go with the green screen. That was my approach. It's like, I don't have the best microphone, but regardless of all that, I know that I don't need that to do what I want to do, because what I really want to do is develop my creative process, and I know that this technology and this equipment will come along the way. And it's like, I'd rather much have 100 videos done than have one video done and have all this expensive equipment and not even know how to use it. So that's just an example, but this course is specifically tailored towards starting some sort of business, or at least acquiring money in some way or another. And so what they do is they really flipped the perspective, because whenever you're let's say you're selling something, let's say you're selling a product, the initial instinct is that you need to figure out what that product is. You have to, create a prototype of that product. You have to manufacture that product. You need to make sure that it's in the best possible quality, and go through multiple, revisions of that product, and then finally get that product. Basically, maybe find a service to sell that product, and then finally find your customers for that product by marketing it. This system, this approach flips that perspective, whereas instead of doing all that crap beforehand, you actually first go ahead and find the customer. You say, hey, who would want to buy this sort of thing? So before even going through any of that process, you say, hey, I have this product. Here's an example of what it might look like. Who wants to buy it? Pre-order it now. And so by doing that, you get the money up front. You pitch the idea, you find out who would be interested. If no one's interested, then you don't waste your time creating something that no one wanted in the first place, and you don't waste your money either. So you pre-order it, get these sales, and then you produce the product, and with the intention, obviously, of creating something that's quality and worth the money that you collected, so that you can further your sales and grow a business from that. And what's great is this works not only with products but with services as well. You can say, hey, this is a service that I want to provide. Would you be open or interested in in purchasing this? And it's interesting because by doing this, it really, one, you're not as attached to an outcome because you don't have as much invested in it. It's just an idea, and you're like, is this idea useful? And immediately you can get feedback on that idea. And if it's a great idea, you'll know because you have money in your hand and you can go do something with that money. If it's not a good idea, you didn't lose anything, and so you can move right to the next idea, and the next idea. And I think that is through what a lot of what I've learned thus far is that like there's no way that you can know what is a good idea. It might be a great idea, but that just being a great idea doesn't necessarily mean it's an idea that's going to be successful. It's like Tesla had a great idea in terms of bringing free energy to the market. Was it the time for that idea? No, absolutely not. That's why most people don't know who Tesla is. You could have the greatest idea in the world, but it's not necessarily the right time, and there's not necessarily the right people for that, and the culture might not might not want that. So these are really interesting things to keep in perspective. And so through doing this, just literally I spent I don't know how many hours, I spent at least probably 4 or 5 hours on this course, and it really opened me up creatively. I started to see things in a completely different way, and I'm like, wow, this is actually a lot, this process, or at least starting a business, which is has always been seemed like this huge kind of undertaking, suddenly turned into this very simple and a fun process, where it's wow, I could actually just create ideas on the spot like I like to do, and actually go and try and implement them immediately, and on top of that, not be so attached to the outcome of what will happen with that. I can immediately let go of that and move on to something else, and it just, to me, it's really, it is a no-brainer. It really makes sense. And bottom line is that if you really want to start a business, you have to identify a need. And the only way to identify a need, the only way to provide a service that's useful, is to ask or get feedback from people that would be utilizing that service. And so if you can't get one sale, then you sure as hell are not going to be able to start a business off of that. So, and I really like that. I think that there is something to, there is when things come easily, usually you're on the right track. And what I mean by that is when things start easily, you're usually on the right track. That doesn't mean that it's going to be easy forever. It's just I think that for me, it's the things that come into my life easily or start very, very, very much in the flow, very smoothly. Those are always the things that I know that are going to be the things that I should definitely go towards. I should definitely work towards this, because typically they end up being the most challenging things for me, but the things that I can grow in, and the things that are the most sustainable. And so I think this approach really does hit on that. And so anyways, if you guys are interested in checking it out, I would totally recommend it. Go to appsumo.com, how to make your first dollar. It's how I'll put the link in the description. I'm not being paid to share this in any way. It's just through my personal experience. I thought this was totally awesome and totally worth sharing. And I will share with you guys my my progress along the way. Me and my buddy we both did the course today, and we're like, all right, let's get on it. Tomorrow we're meeting up, and we're gonna create our first business project together with the intentions of basically getting it out there within 48 hours and seeing if we can get our first 3 sales, and just seeing where that goes. So I'm really excited to see if this actually works. I really feel that it will. It makes a lot of logical sense to me, and in terms, I can completely relate to it in terms of this creative project. Not just this alone, but just I feel like all of my failures in terms of projects have stemmed from needing to have everything done up front rather than going to the source of what really makes something work. What really makes something work is when you have people that want that as well. So that's it's just a totally awesome thing, and so I'm grateful. I made the most productive sick day ever. So if you're sick and you want to check something out, definitely check this out. But anyways, that's all I got for today, guys. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed this. I will be back on tomorrow. Hopefully I'll be feeling a bit better. But until then, have a wonderful night, and I will talk to y'all tomorrow. Peace and love, my friends.